I still remember the first time I saw what money can do to a person, not in a movie, not in a history book, but in real life. A man I admired, kind, generous, principled, suddenly had power and wealth, and slowly, almost quietly, something changed. His voice became colder, his decisions sharper. People became numbers. That's when the question lodged itself in my mind. Does money corrupt morality, or does it simply reveal who we really are? Tonight I want to explore that question, not with slogans or easy answers, but through history, psychology, and human stories. Because money doesn't just buy things, it buys choices, and choices expose character. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Money is not a personality, it's a magnifier. Give a kind person more resources, and often they become more generous. Give a selfish person the same resources, and they become dangerous. Psychologists call this the amplification effect. When survival is no longer your main concern, your inner values step forward. Fear recedes, restraint loosens, and whatever was already inside you, good or bad, finally has room to breathe. Money doesn't whisper instructions, it removes limits, and when limits disappear, morality is tested. History gives us extreme examples. Take Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. He ruled over unimaginable wealth and power, yet lived simply. He wrote about humility, self-control, and duty. Money didn't corrupt him, it revealed discipline. Now compare that to Nero. Same empire, same resources, wildly different character. Nero used wealth to feed ego, cruelty, and excess. The money didn't turn him into a tyrant, it simply gave his impulses a stage. Throughout history, this pattern repeats. Kings, corporations, conquerors, philanthropists, money never chooses sides. People do. But there's another layer, one that's harder to see. Studies show that as people gain wealth, they often lose empathy. Not because they're evil, but because money creates distance. When you don't need help, you forget what needing help feels like. When mistakes don't cost you much, consequences feel abstract. When everyone listens to you, resistance feels like disrespect. Power changes perception. This is why moral decay at the top often feels invisible to the person experiencing it. They don't feel corrupt, they feel justified. Money doesn't erase morality. It rewrites the feedback loop. A lot of us believe a comforting myth. When I have money, I'll finally become a better person, but that's rarely how it works. If you cut corners now, you'll cut bigger corners later. If you ignore people now, you'll ignore more people later. If you value status over integrity now, money won't fix that. It will fund it. Money doesn't upgrade character. It scales it. Who you are when you have little is usually who you become when you have a lot. Just louder. So does money corrupt morality? Sometimes, but not in the way we think. Money doesn't inject evil into good people. It removes the friction that was keeping impulses in check. It hands you freedom and waits. And freedom is the most honest test there is, because when no one is watching, when consequences are optional, when comfort is guaranteed, that's when character speaks. Here's the part that matters most. The real danger isn't money, it's unexamined values. If we don't define our morals before success, success will define them for us. So maybe the question isn't, will money corrupt me? Maybe it's, who am I becoming right now before money ever arrives? Because one day, if you're lucky, you'll have more power than you need, and when that day comes, money won't change who you are. It will introduce you to yourself. There's a moment no one warns you about. It's not when you get rich, it's not when the money hits your account. It's the first time you realize you can get away with something. A small lie, a delayed payment, a decision that hurts someone, but benefits you. Nothing happens, no punishment, no fallout, no consequences. And that silence, that's where morality starts to negotiate. We often talk about money as comfort, safety, freedom. But money's most dangerous form isn't comfort, it's power. Power over time, power over people, power over outcomes. When money shields you from consequences, morality stops being a rule and starts feeling like a suggestion. You don't think, I'm doing something wrong way. You think, this is just how the world works. That's how corruption rarely feels evil. It feels normal. There's a psychological term for this: moral distance. When wealth insulates you, suffering becomes theoretical. Numbers on a spreadsheet, statistics, collateral damage. You don't see faces, you see margins. And slowly, without intention, empathy erodes, not because you hate people, but because you no longer need them. The less dependent you are on others, the easier it becomes to forget their humanity. Here's another trick money plays on the mind. It convinces us we earned everything. Every advantage becomes proof of virtue. Every loss becomes someone else's failure. I worked harder. I was smarter. I deserved this. But no one succeeds alone. Ever. Luck, timing, health, support, opportunity. Money doesn't just buy things, it rewrites memory. And once you believe your success is purely moral, you start believing others' failure is purely personal. That belief is where compassion dies. And yet, not everyone falls. Some people gain wealth and somehow remain grounded. Why? Because they anchor their identity somewhere outside money, family, faith, principles, purpose. They decide early, I am not what I own. They treat money as a tool, not a scoreboard. These people don't fear losing money because it was never their moral foundation. So maybe the real danger isn't wealth. Maybe it's confusing success with worth. Because once your bank balance becomes your moral proof, anything that increases it starts feeling justified, and anything that threatens it feels like an attack. That's when morality bends quietly, logically, convincingly, logically. Money doesn't ruin everyone, but it tests everyone. It asks, who are you when you don't need to be kind? Who are you when you don't have to be fair? Who are you when no one can stop you? Most people never face that test. A few do, and the results are never random. So before we chase wealth, maybe we should chase clarity, because when money finally removes the mask, you don't want to meet a stranger.